I am kind of surprised, actually, to see that this new Harry Potter thing has a lot of hate. And not the kind of hate you expect it to have, of course. It's Reddit, it's left wing. They think anyone who has anything to do with J.K. Rowling is guilty of trans genocide. But there's a lot of hate about the same thing the loser incel right wing chuds hate, and we'll get there. But start off with something a little bit more universal, or typically universal, which is the lighting elements, the music, the entire point of it. A lot of people are just asking why, and I'm inclined to agree. If there was something extra or like a change, if it was a rewrite, then I would understand. But it really is just kind of the same thing. And some people are upset about the fact that they haven't changed the robes or the wands or anything like that. I mean, I get what they're saying. Oh, God, Draco's new haircut. People do not like that, and neither do I. But at the same time, the lighting of this one's quite good. At the same time, I don't see how they could redo the cloaks and all of that. I mean, well, they they sort of do for Snape, but the the general feel of Hogwarts kind of has to stay the same, really, overall. And a lot of the props and stuff are going to stay the same. I mean, they're not going to remake the vibe of the castle or anything, and wizards hats and robes and such. It's not something that they can just like what are they gonna do? Make them rainbow colored? It's and the brooms as well. So this is lighting comparisons for the most part that this person's uploaded, and a lot of the complaint is for the trailer is just the lighting, and there's some Snape there. The that's a little bit more than a lighting comparison, I suppose. This is the big one that people are really pointing at, the train scene. You have this scene that's supposed to be very warm and happy, right? Harry Potter, he's lived an abusive life for the whole of his life, and he's just learned that he's a wizard, and he's going to a wizard school. That's pretty exciting. But on the scene, it's dark, shadowed, kind of weird looking, like DC movie, sort of dark and gritty kind of vibe to it. A lot of people are describing it as a made for TV sort of vibe. But I don't know. I feel like the only reason they're saying that is just because so many TV shows have been made with this sort of lighting rather than it just being like a TV lighting aesthetic. But it's not just that. I mean, he's also here with Ron. And who deserves warm lighting more than Ron, really? I mean, look at how happy he is. Why does he have dark lighting? Like, I get that it's England and it's usually overcast and such, but it's a bit weird to do that, and it certainly doesn't benefit Hermione at all, which a lot of the comments I've seen are pointing out the people who are creeping on Emma Watson and made like a countdown clock for when she turns 18 and stuff. Of course, these same people don't have any problem with all the crap girls do. They don't have a problem with all of that, but I mean, like, I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, they're like projecting so much. Like, nothing's even happened, and they're already projecting that people are going to creep on them, which is so unfair. Like, I'm so sick of that being how the world, like, nothing even happens, and they've already incriminated men for something. Anyway, the lighting. Yes, the lighting looks terrible in the new one. In these happy scenes, anyway. Obviously, the original movies, they had dark scenes as well. But yeah, the lighting is bad for the most part. At least where it's supposed to be warm and happy because they're children who are happy and smiling. These kinds of scenes are a little bit better. But the next complaint that I say complaint. I mean, it's a complaint towards the movies inversely. They don't like, Reddit doesn't like the movies versions of the Dursleys because they're too nice. They're too goofy. They wanted them to be meaner and more horrible. And I think in the movies they just didn't portray that much because it was a movie. It's not like a self-help seminar. It's not like some mental health thing. Like, They didn't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about how Harry Potter was mentally and emotionally abused by these people who didn't love him that he had to live with. But here, they're happy. This Reddit thread, they're happy about it. Now, some of them are pointing out that the Dursleys are kind of comical, goofy in the books. I honestly don't remember the books. I did read them as a kid, but I don't really remember them at all. A lot of these people, they wanted them to be like more awful and more horrible, and they like that this is portraying them as awful and horrible. Like somewhere in this says this is this guy has like a serial killer vibe or something. Like they're happy that he's got this dark, awful vibe to it. Feels so HBO coded, dark vibes in that pic. I love it. Like yeah, it's the serial killer comment there. Literally thought serial killer vibes. Like that's what you like about this, really? And there's people talking about the '90s aesthetic, the '90s aesthetic of all of it and such. The psychological abuse. Oh yes, it's also always this ignored in favor of physical abuse. I mean, is that what you're really like excited about for Harry Potter? That you get to finally see Harry Potter be psychologically abused, which he wasn't in the movies. I mean, he felt like he was in the movies. They were pretty abusive. I mean, they were goofy, sure. I love this guy, by the way. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but love him. Anyway, like, this is just like a really weird thing I saw that they were talking about. That they love the like serial killer vibes of this. By the way, this is very '90s coded as well. Maybe more like '80s, but still. Anyway, HBO cooked with the new Harry Potter, they say. A lot of people are saying anyway. There's still, even with this, there's tons of people complaining about it, tons of people making jabs at Snape. This one is my favorite. I'm colorblind to the casting, but I can see the articles that'll come out when the movie comes into book 5 through 7, portraying a black person as a magical neo-Nazi, equivalent with a white kid being the hero and chasing him. Yeah, it won't go down well. You're colorblind to the casting, but you know what's going to happen. You're just putting it. You're putting the blame of what's going to happen on the articles that will come out talking about what you've just defined. What a weird thing to say. Why would you say that? Could it be because Severus Snape is supposed to have a long, hooked, thin nose, and Africans have a short, blunt nose? Is it because Snape is supposed to be pallid and almost like transparent in his skin, and Africans are not? Is it the hair? Now, to be fair, everyone except for some white people have black hair, like Snape. But, I don't think dreads are very equivalent to, like, greasy locks like curtains. I just... Oh, you know what it is? I know what it is. It's the fact that they gave him, like, a leather jacket with a zipper and then, like, a leather trench coat instead of wizard robes, right? That's what you were talking about with the colorblind to the casting, and that's got to be it, right? No, not that. I mean, the comments in this particular, this is an r/Sipstea thread, and this is absolutely tearing into Snape, and I think I might know the reason for this. It's because there's no Trump involved. It's from something over the pond. Now, J.K. Rowling's involved, yes, that's true, and we'll get to that, but there's pretty much no one in this thread mentioning Rowling, at least not that I've seen, but I haven't really looked at many of the, I think it's got up to like 10,000 comments when I refreshed it, and then they locked it. A lot of which seem to be pruned, by the way, but I'll get to that as well. So many of these are just jokes about how bad of an idea it was to make Snape black. Snape in the books. There, his black robes rippling in a cold breeze, stood Severus Snape. He was a thin man with sallow skin, a hooked nose, and greasy, shoulder-length black hair, and at this moment he was smiling in a way that told Harry he and Ron were in very deep trouble. And then they created a translation of that, more or less, that said what the casting read. Blank, his black, blank, 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 skin, blank, 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 black, blank, 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 M, blank, 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 A, blank, 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 in. So, his black skin, black man, which, I mean, normally you don't see comments like that being allowed on Reddit, and sure enough, this thread would eventually get censored, but there was a lot of hatred for Black Snape. I wish it was an effing joke. There's just so many people Skeletor there. So many people really didn't like this. Not a big fan of the Harry Potter franchise, but it's extremely tone deaf to be this controversial. The producers set this series up for failure. And I think they legitimately did that on purpose. Most Harry Potter subs are getting people banned for talking about this. And a lot of people here are talking about how they can't say anything about this on other subreddits because they're being called bigots and such. And, I mean, that's the way it's always been, but it's just funny to me. Look at this top comment. Since they're being as accurate as possible to the books, I'm wondering how the scene where Harry's dad bullies Severus and hangs him from a tree will go. Mm-hmm. And here's the thread 2 days later. Comment removed by moderator. Now this GIF is even more relevant, isn't it? Uh-oh. They've censored the crap out of it. 43,000 upvotes, 10,000 comments, but it's been massively censored for some inexplicable reason. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. It's controlling information to make it more democratic friendly, huh? Right. Well, speaking of that, while this thread, the original thread, before it was massively censored, it has loads of people memeing about it. It's, Snoop Snape there asking where the weed at. It's just everyone's taking the piss out of it. Everyone hates it. They know it's just a bad idea. Everyone knows it. Are those dreadlocks? Jesus effing Christ. But yeah, everything eventually comes back to the Democratic Party on Reddit, and Harry Potter is of course no exception because Satan themselves, J.K. Rowling, created it. And they say on this trash sub again, it's the new Harry Potter TV series trailer was released today. It's time to take a look at J.K. Rowling's history of transphobia, a comprehensive timeline of J.K. Rowling's descent into transphobia, an imaginary thing which is simply derived from homophobia, which is also an imaginary thing coined by a therapist who was a complete moron and thought that Christians following the word of their God, which was that a man laying with another man is an abomination, had a phobia of homosexuality. Right. Yes, and now is a great time to look into that. You know what, though? For this sub, and for Reddit in general, every moment of every day seems to be a good time to look into J.K. Rowling's descent into transphobia, because they think that she's evil, and that anyone who even plays video games, like HoloLive's Inugami Korone playing Hogwarts Legacy, is guilty of transgenocide, as they have said in their harassment of her on Blue Sky. I cannot believe anyone would sign on to be part of this hateful woman's legacy after the years she has dedicated to terrorizing the trans community. Shame on all of them. This entire subreddit, everyone who uses it, that person right there, have dedicated their lives to hating J.K. Rowling, to hating anyone who has any level of love in their heart. That's all they are, is hate. Hate for Rowling, hate for Trump. They're just bundles of hate. They would have no idea what to do with their lives if not for Rowling, if not for Trump. They give them purpose. Personally, I don't see a purpose in this new Harry Potter parody. I'm just going to call it a parody, really, because I don't know that it's exactly nostalgic to anyone. You know, like, I see things like Severus Snape, right? The original one. She created it, probably from a memory of hers, right? I mean, the characters are fairly tropic, fairly stereotypical. He's a sort of mean older professor. You can understand where she's coming from with that. A lot of the people who read the books can understand that character. They had people like that in their lives, in their schools. I don't know that there's a whole lot of British people today that have a mean, kind of abusive teacher who is also a black man. I just don't know that there's a lot of people who have that nostalgia, the same nostalgia that they had for the white Severus Snape. I mean, it's like it's done on purpose. They had to have done it on purpose, and I feel like Rowling must have signed. Like, if she had the ability to stop it, I think she allowed it on purpose. I think she allowed it for the same reason that Brazilian lady went on TV recently. Was it Venezuelan? I can't recall. Maybe it was Venezuelan. Went on TV and went blackface to say that, like, this does not make me a black person, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to include that in the video because I don't know how YouTube would feel about it, but I think Rowling may have allowed this on purpose to try and show people, like, well, this is what you want? Fine. Here, have it. And now that people have it, now that they see it, now that it's not involved with like Trump in America, they're totally okay saying that Snape shouldn't be black. They're totally okay sitting in this thread saying that it's ridiculous and they don't like it and they are being called bigots for saying that. It has to be on purpose, just to make these people angry. That's my thoughts. Plus, I don't really care that they're making a new one. I mean, like, it's just a waste of money, I think. And I do feel bad for the kids because they're being dragged into something that exists just for the sake of profit. You know, just trying to farm like breadcrumbs because they can't make anything original anymore. So I do feel bad for the kids in that regard. But you know, I guess they're going to get some level of fame out of it. I'm sure they're going to get a paycheck out of it. So people have done worse for less. So it's not like it's that bad for them. But outside of certain subs, it's being shown that Redditors, generally speaking, outside of that one, they're hating on Black Snape just because it's ridiculous. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, if you agreed, please do the YouTube things. Thank you.